Welcome everybody to our March meeting held early. Got apologies from Larissa. Somebody, Chris, yeah, second.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Move that we accept that. Moving on to public forum. Have we got anybody else other than Terry?
I've brought Clyde on. He just wants to talk about, this is Clyde Eketahuna. He's working with us on the old community plan. He lives in Eketahuna. He's a judge of the peace and everything else. Got a great interest in doing what Eketahuna does.
The answer is no, it wasn't no.
Yes.
But anyway, might as well kick it off, Terry.
Yeah. So recently community plan that sits. We tried to reinvigorating it. Starting again. We sat down, went to the Sunday market, and rather than sit there and give people little questionnaires, we got them to put their ideas down. Had sweets on these and stuff, so it was interesting. And all the ideas down on. So these are our future sort of ideas we had, and these are what they put on. We did another one yesterday at the rubbish sale, and that's exactly the same as sport. So we didn't count the numbers for this one, but it was roughly over 50. Yesterday we had 67. And totally different group of people from what we had at the Sunday market. So it's
Does the new stuff to what was already on?
Yeah, the new stuff yesterday, they want a spa. They want a water recycling plant, they want stuff like this and other bits and pieces. So it's all being broken down into what is TDC's responsibility, what we see it being our town, and stuff. There's some stuff in there that's quite interesting. Like they want to windproof Eketahuna. I thought that's a very interesting one, but hey, so that's what we have. It is. So what we're doing is so it's become Eketahuna our town, which is who we are, Eketahuna our town, but it's your voice. We're having a banner made up that will go behind the table every time we're out. And we're also asking people who, like, during the Sunday market, people have been to Martinborough, they were coming back through, and they asked people visiting it and put their ideas down about what they'd like to see here too. So we're getting a whole across the spectrum sort of input. So that's what it is. That's where we're going. After this, on the 5th of March now, we've got Fontaine kindly coming down from TDC to talk about what facilities do, and then we're going to say this is what facilities do, this is what your community board does, because community board's been invited as well, and this is what our town does. So they understand who does what and how it works, and how we're going to link that all together. So that's the next step from this, and then at the end in May we'll have a new community plan. We'll have these ideas weighted, what young Clyde is now going to talk to you about. And now we'll go into the community plan about those are our priorities. So over to you, Clyde.
Have you been talking to Sarah?
Sorry?
Have you been talking to
Yes, everything on everything.
Here it goes then. So I guess in the previous slide of mine, I was a member of the Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply. That is relevant because running tenders and negotiating suppliers and building contracts is part of what this is all about. The question was, well, if we get an idea from here, we get an idea from there, how do we evaluate the ideas? I took the criteria from the plan, which talks about the three things of accessibility, improving business opportunities and connectivity. And we added a fourth criteria around costing. So we had those allocated. We then weighted in terms of relevance, because we don't have any money. We said that it's a low cost, it's beneficial. And then we looked at the others. We weighted business down a little bit. Accessibility depends a little bit on who you are and your availability to equipment and stuff like that. So that weighted down a bit. But the two main criteria was cost and connectivity for the community. So having done that, Terry, myself and Karina sat down as a small committee, and obviously it's subjective to a degree, and we weighted. There were actually about 75 ideas on there. And interestingly enough, because there was also a survey done by the Tower of Sport, and they looked at youth. And a lot of the youth ideas came out on top as well. So things like walking clubs, line dancing, park run, reading club for kids, these were very much highlighted as high level importance. I highlighted the top 30. Down the bottom there, you get things that are outside the scope of the committee, things like sewage up High Street, tidy up derelict buildings, Main Street, stuff like that. So it'd be interesting to get the others as well. What I would be interested in is, if it's available, is to have a proposal form. I guess, so when you've got an idea, there's a proposal. So just listing in terms of the idea and what's behind it. So this is very much headline stuff. Hasn't gone anywhere further than that. So it's really given us an opportunity to shortlist some of the tops. So we can really put some energy into those rather than having a whole lot.
Yeah. But what we have found is, like, a lot of the stuff falls into that youth group. And I've got two proposals that I'd like to put towards the community board today as part of that youth group. The first one is basketball that seems to be a big kicker around here. Yes, we have one up at the actual rugby ground, small court outside as well. It's a long walk for the lads and the lasses, youngsters, to go up there. Whereas just here behind the council building, where we do our recycling, there's a nice bit of ground there which will fit a half basketball court perfectly. It's right next door to the current park, so the teenagers can look after their younger siblings while they're in there. So the proposal is, at this moment in time, is to the community board to support the recycling of the two recycling. They call it what they call it. Up to bins up through a recessable site, a recessed site up at the dump. So what we'd be looking at is just at the dump as you go in, next to it, we put a fence in so they can't actually get into the dump. And then it's on metal, then you put both of the bins either side, and they would drive your car into the middle, get rid of your gear, and back to your recycling. We've spoken to people in the community about it. Majority of them are quite happy to do it. Most of them, believe it or not, do their recycling with their cars. So there's another 2 kilometres, and they're quite happy because they can do it for youth. We're putting in an application. It is successful here with the council. Going forward with that idea with us. To Wairika to have that half basketball court put there. It's a safe, secure area. It's in the middle of town. It's great for the youngsters who in the morning have to wait for their bus or come back in the evening. And I don't think a bit of fencing with some metal will actually cost that much to do. Obviously, we'll do further investigations as a community. And the second one is to kick off this youth hub we're talking about. We have a community hall. It's big, it's huge, it's exactly what we want for our youth. The only thing is there's a cost to it. And I'd like to propose the community, this second proposal is that 4 days a month, weekdays, and 2 weekends, that we as a community can use the community hall free of charge for the youth of our town, so they can feel connectivity that they belong to Eketahuna, that it's they're part and parcel of something and they're important to us, because the youth are. They're our future. And we need to make them feel that they're wanted, they're needed, they belong. And if we've got to tell some of these families who really haven't got a lot of spare cash in this time, that they can just come along. I'm going to Wairaka Reap today, well today, over the next week, Wairaka Reap, Tower River Reap. I'm going to go to Tower River Youth Services and others to look at funding, and also speak to David Patterson at ECCT about getting funding for that as well. So I just put those 2 proposals to you. One is the recycling of the actual 2 recycling bins, and secondly, free of cost to use the actual community hall for a youth hub.
So would Scott?
Yeah, we're quite keen to just make sure that there's a couple of things considered by the community board before you make any decisions around that. Both of those ideas have great material.
We'd have to put it on the next agenda to discuss.
Sure, but good to have a bit of a discussion now. The one thing that jumps out at me moving the recycling bins is being absolutely certain of two things. One, that they can be relocated at a reasonable cost to the dump. Sounds like you've done some work there, and also making sure that there's community support for that move. Recycling can be understandably a little bit contentious. We had a situation in Northwood where we had to move recycling bins from their location because it wasn't an appropriate location, and we had been unable to find a suitable site to relocate them. Each time there has been a couple that have been found, and they've met with quite strong community objection to where they're going. So I want to just, before, if there is support from the community board, it really, in my view, needs to be subject to those things, because there could be some unintended consequences with the moving. Particularly, one of the things that jumped out in Northwood was from elderly people that are not as, it's not as easy for them to travel even a couple of kilometres, where it's in town. I've had multiple phone calls, so has the chief executive, and actually so has our local MP, Mike Butterick, who's sitting over there. So it can be a little bit bigger than what's considered. The other bit I just wanted to ask, on your second proposal, Terry, I love the idea about community facilities having a higher level of utilisation. I think that's really great. When you talk about free of charge and funding, I just want to really double check what the proposal is. Are you looking at getting funding for the use of those buildings, or funding, from Eastern Community Trust, and likewise, was that for the activities?
Yes, for the activities.
Okay. So one thing I just want to put to the board is nothing is free. So when we talk about things being free of charge, there's always a cost. There's an unintended consequence of that as well, is that sounds incredibly worthy, what you're looking at doing. And if that was approved by council, then it would be another 10, 20, 30 groups that would have equally worthy reasons for wanting to do that. That is something that we could look at for sure, but that would have to be ratepayer funded, because the revenue from those buildings would drop. I think if pickleball, there's a whole lot of other things that are being currently paid for, and if that precedent was set where council was offering that for free, rightfully, they would have a case to come to council and say, perhaps we shouldn't pay for that. When we are entering into a situation, certainly our local MP is here, but we are entering into a situation of rates capping and other situations where fees and charges potentially are going to be the only way that we'll be able to keep facilities like that operating. We have to be really, really careful that even on the face of it, it seems like an incredibly worthy idea. It may have quite large ramifications across the district. So I just want the community board to give that consideration.
So that might mean that you need to just try and find money for the cost of the hiring.
I hear it, but thank you for that. So, all the funding, everything we're looking at, you've got to start somewhere.
Yes.
And so initially, we need the numbers to know how many youths want to come in. So it might be that, give it 6 months, we can start paying. And this isn't going to start to wait anyway, because all the adults who are going to come into the game need to be police cleared, need to be everything else, and all the other necessary things that we need to do as adults when we're with youth. So 6 months' time, it might be that ECT say, yeah, no problems, we can give you X amount a year, and then we go to COGS and they pay for our organizer, coordinator, or whatever else it might be. Yes, we've got Tower Sport, we've got Man Over 2 Sports, and everything else. We've already said they will give us equipment. So yeah, there's all those things.
How about I let you know when we have our informal sit down before the board meeting? 'Cause
Yeah.
we've done it, but every second time will be an informal, and we can discuss some of this and
Love to.
fine tune exactly what needs to be brought to a community board meeting.
Could I please just make one final comment?
We'll see less than 5 minutes all up.
It'll be 2.5, that seems. Just one thing, and look, this is not about just saying, this is about.
Oh, no, I can understand.
How do we figure out how to make something that is really meaningful like that actually work? Hopefully you're aware that council's contestable fund is open. I think that applications are closing very soon, or yes, very imminently. This for me that is the purpose of that fund. I would consider quickly getting an application to the contestable fund for facility use and other things that you're wanting to do. That could be a solution that ties you over for that 6-month period. So I would highly encourage you to do that even before the informal meeting, get an application in there through Eketahuna Town. Highly encourage it.
All right,
All good.
thanks.
Thank you.
Terry. Right, we need to move straight on to Mike. We can hear from you.
Oh, what would you like to hear from me about today?
Well, just response to the letter about our TNP costs was really the primary, the only thing we were asking of you today.
Yeah, so first of all, thanks for the letter, and great to see you all here, on your faces, on a glorious Wairarapa day.
It's always nice to see you.
Yeah, it's great to see the sun. Yeah, so look, it is something I've been pursuing for quite some time. It is a challenge right across all of our communities. And, you know, likes of Greytown, for example, they have 4 events, you know, both ends of the Winter Festival plus the Anzac Parade plus the Christmas parade cards and you have 3 Daffodil Day, Anzac Christmas, Danny Birthday, you go up and down the country. And I'm just going to have to be a little bit careful about how I frame it. But what I can tell you is I am working on something. Whether it's feasible or not, I don't know. But, you know, an observation would be is that, you know, all these communities up and down the country, they have these events. They've had these events they've run them the same way for years and years and years, and there's no material change in terms of the processes that they've got to go through. So, you know, and it can cost $10,000, $12,000, $30,000 a pop every time for something that you just cut the paste and do the same. So there are some things that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And so we'll just watch the space is probably what I can say, but look very, very aware of it. Yeah.
Has anybody got any questions for Mike regarding Scott?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. It's a really quick request for Mike. I'm well aware that Mike has a particular interest in this area and has been working in it. I share that particular passion and interest. So I suppose it's an offer and a request if you're working towards that, Mike.
Yep.
As a council, we stand ready to assist, perhaps via case study, if you would like. Anything that I can do to make that easier for you to achieve what you're trying to achieve.
Yep.
I am very, very happy to do it. It's a big problem, not just for Eketahuna, but for our entire district and I'd say for your entire electorate. So please let me know any information you require from us and I'll get it for you.
No, look, that's very much appreciated, and I frame it up as it's the regulatory Grinch that steals the joy out of our community parades.
Totally.
You know, so absolutely, definitely, we'll work with you, Scott. So, yep, thank you very much.
Malcolm.
Can I just cover who's the main regulator? NZTA, Mike?
Yeah, well, it's NCTA because it's on a state highway, so it's just the consenting process. So effectively, you know, an example that I could. South Wairarapa District Council a couple of years ago, they cancelled their Anzac Parade at Featherston because it was going to be a $6,000 cost. And so they needed a consent to just divert the traffic round around the block effectively, and that was so that people could walk across from the cenotaph across the main road and then walk down the road to the RSA. Ironically, so they decided, no, we can't afford that as a council. Ironically, at the end of the Anzac Parade, people walked across the main road and walked down to the RSA. Anyway, so yeah, it is there.
One thing, as you work this through, one thing through your chair, that maybe the government could think about is if it's imposing a rates cap on communities, which, I get that, then the quid pro quo will be to reduce regulatory impost as much as possible.
Yeah, I agree. And look, it's just one of those little frustrations that I've had for a long time. It's just, it's the cost that our communities, councils and ratepayers ultimately have to pay for something that is literally a rinse and repeat.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah. And, that really cuts across a lot of things that councils do in terms of traffic safety management. I do know Carlton District Council have worked out if they shut a road for the day, not on the state highway network, obviously, but if they shut a road for the day, they save $3,000 there or thereabouts in traffic safety management. And so absolutely aware of the frustrations and the cost implications for ratepayers. Yeah.
All right, well, thanks very much, Mike, for turning up and answering that. The politician's way, but it's good to hear that.
No, look, I do apologise. Because I do get stuff going on behind the scenes that I'm not at liberty to disclose to make some sort of skirting around it.
That's understandable, but thank you.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll move on. Feel free to hang around or leave whatever you need to do, Mike.
Yeah, look, I'm going to sneak off in 10 minutes. Get off to park and store things.
I appreciate you coming here anyway.
Yeah,
absolutely. This might be a silly question, but the roads have to be on the main road.
No, we don't have ours on the main road. For the last 2 years, we took it because we took it off there.
Because it was nice little square,
They don't have to be, no.
But the cost isn't just the NZTA, it's the regulation that comes out of NZTA is one of the regulators. So the cost that comes out of that. So moving to that risk-based approach is helpful, but it's not. Be well aware there's a lot more to do to try and reduce the costs.
If it's going to close the road, though, for the cheaper option, it would be easier to close it side road.
It would be, and I think that's down to each community's decision. Some communities do want to have the grade going down their main street as they have done for generations. And to be frank, it shouldn't be down to cost of where the grade route should be, in my view. If they want to do it down the main street, there should be a cost-effective way to be able to do that.
If it's a state highway, I don't think we can close it anyway. Local roads.
Close the state highway.
Well, we'll move on now. We've covered a fair bit there. To item 5, which is items not on the agenda. Does anybody have anything that we haven't got on the agenda? I have put a comment about potholes, and the reason it's not on the agenda that I'd like to put it on there is just because I was hoping that we would have had a result from the CRM by now, but we haven't. So I'll pop that into
Is that from the
2015. That got resolved on Friday, that one, so that was good eventually to get there. Yeah, and it looks like they've done a reasonable job of it too. Item 6, any conflicts of interest today? No? Right, on to confirmation of the minutes. As of same as last meeting, I'm going to assume everybody's read all this previously and ask for any comments. Any mistakes or comments on the minutes? Let's have somebody move that they're up to a correct record. Chris, thank you. Second to it. Noddy. Well, thank you. We will mix it up a bit later.
All the trumpets.
All those in favour say aye. Carried. On to 8.1 is our council report. I had a note on page 16 and I can't remember what it was.
You should.
On 10.3 on page 16. I just didn't really understand it. I wondered if somebody could explain what that means.
Sure.
Or the purpose of that.
Yes, under the local government chair, there are three requirements imposed on those council controlled organisations around certain activities that have to be done. If you get an exemption from you can exempt the CCO from those essentially regulatory obligations and costs, assuming it goes through a council resolution. So NWLS except for this resolution, would be called a council control organisation under the Act because it's owned by all of the Man or Two Whanganui councils, the exception of Palmerston North, who's still understand debating whether they want to join or not. So if all the councils approve it, that it's exempt from those things, they all have to do a resolution essentially. So that's what that is.
And what is the purpose of the exemption?
Just so to exempt it from the certain requirements under local government Act, which a CCO has to do. Essentially, yeah. Annual reports, all that sort of stuff. So it's just a way of saving money, essentially.
Okay.
So,
Like that, yeah.
Mr. Chair, within the council agenda of that meeting, there will be a report within there that will talk about specifically what doesn't have to be done and what does have to be done. Literally, it's just removing some of the administrative bureaucracy because of the nature of the work that NWLS is doing. So,
Well, that sounds positive.
Yeah, and the board chair is made up of the chief executives of the shareholding council. They keep an eye. So basically, they don't do anything like insurance purchase, archives, that sort of stuff. On a shared service thing, I think it's his worship's view, concerning mine, that they could do a lot more.
Yeah.
But it's essentially a way of saving money.
Yeah.
A lot more.
No, let's say that sounds very good. Anyone else got any comments on that report? Right, someone moved that report was received.
The delegations, the community boards, so I'm not clear this, so I'm not sure what they're being filed.
That's sorry.
The delegations to community boards, the 26th. I'm new to this, so I'm not sure.
It's on the agenda. Yeah, it's on the agenda today, so. So, yeah, someone to move. Yeah. Marissa, thank you. That report's received and seconded. Well, thank you. All those in favour say aye. Carried. Now we move on to page 23. So I would suggest we just sort of run through that and these appointments, and anyone can put their hand up as they like. We'll start with start at the top. Or do we have to move something first? Find names.
Can we do this after interim discussion meeting, just so we sort of like can brainstorm what our streets are and stuff like that? Or is it decided right now?
Well, it is on today's agenda, and we can have a little discussion about the different roles. I just wanted to, like I say, you know, so things for how
I want to end up with like you said, the mismatched skills, but you know, yeah. Sorry, this is probably like your own. You can't read.
Well, I think that we could probably have a little discussion about it now to answer any questions you've got.
Okay.
So we start with the first one here, The road safety groups, so that is, that's something I've done in the past, but I'm more than happy for anyone else to do it.
What does that entail?
So that entails going to the road safety meeting held at council, so you can do that either in person or by Zoom. And it's primarily is to bring any concerns that we have in our district to the council's notice in that road, and as far as road safety goes. So I've done it in the past.
That's the frequency and duration.
I think it might be 4 times a year. I think it's 4 times a year. So yeah, originally I would travel there, and then lately I've started doing more Zoom meetings just to be more time efficient. So yeah, that's primarily what it's for, is to present through the board any community views on any safety aspects that need improving around here. I haven't got a positive comment about it, so I won't say nothing.
I just want to understand that.
Yeah.
I'm not like rush through a lot of stuff. We're probably going to end up with this, so sometimes.
Yeah, well, that's quite simply what that is. It's a road safety meeting, but in council 4 times a year, and someone from here, which was me, attend it and give any view on what we'd like to see around here improved. So I'm happy for anyone else to take over that role. If anyone's got any interest, either yourself, Dave, or anyone else. You've just got to make sure you've got the time. It is in a work day.
Yeah, that's something that I sort of struggle with. There are quite a few things here. There's only done 1 or 2 each.
Talking about efficiency, are you attending those meetings anyway or not?
At the moment, I'm not required to, but I probably will be attending them anyway because it's sort of something on my watch. I mean, I'll be able to pick it up if you want to hand it over.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to say, right, well, I've done that before and I've done that one before. I just wanted to be a bit more open today and say if anyone wants to put their hand up, then it's probably going to
The only thing here that I actually have any knowledge on, I mean, I do like 50,000 kilometres a year around the place. So this may be off topic and out of line, but has anyone noticed the amount of possums on the road? Ridiculous amount of possums. Is that normal here?
probably.
What wasn't last year?
That's Horizon's traffic.
Yeah.
That's customers. They're not common.
I go to Marston's. Up the sun's gone down. I see 3, 4 in the road.
We'll just try and keep on track with this thing today. But did you want to put your hand up for it or?
Well, it's probably looking through here.
I don't want to push you into
That's
it.
probably the only thing that I really can contribute on. The rest of it sort of. I've only been here 2 years, so I haven't really got into most of these things.
Scott, have you got a comment?
Yeah, just a really quick comment, too, and sorry, I'll just step out really briefly. First one is probably preferable, and it is up to you as a board, but the people that are assigned as liaisons are the elected community board. I think Chris can be there to help provide an overview as the councillor, but that touch-in piece would be preferable if that was elected community boards taking, members taking the lead. The other bit is, I don't think you necessarily have to have a strong connection with those groups now. The purpose of this is to be forming that strong connection. So it may be, I'm not sure how that works yet. Well, if you're assigned to that, then that becomes incumbent on you to
Give it a shot. Chris was.
All right. I think everyone has your level.
and Chris can be there to support.
Just looking through the site, I wouldn't be able to use something practically that I've done about it. It's good.
All right, well, I'm going to put your name down on there, Dave. Thank you. Emergency Management Committee, that's also something that I've been attending, but again, I'm more than happy to hand over any roles at all. It doesn't have to be the way it was before at all. So, Mel or Chris.
Yeah, I'll pick that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be possible, this may or may not be possible either, but could we do like a primary and like a secondary person, that kind of?
I think for today, we just elect we put somebody in, and I'm pretty sure we're allowed to do that if someone can't make it, we can, Scott.
You asked, and sorry, and apologies that I had to step out. I just wanted to jump back to the road safety group, which I see that you were talking about. I wasn't sure that you were looking at towards the road safety group. Probably as a request from me, the standard of that, it's always the elected chairs of the community, because that road safety committee safety meetings, and the chairperson can get all of the information from the community. So it is up to you, but every other community committee, traditionally now is appointing their chair to that committee. So just would like you to.
Thanks for that input there. I mean, I'm happy to keep doing it, and I've already got I've already got an item on the agenda for the next one coming up. But in saying that, Dave, anybody else is more than welcome to attend, don't they? Just as anybody else. What's that?
Psychic.
Yeah, I mean, look, generally it is the chairs and the mayor that do it along with those support groups. We can have a chat about that afterwards and have an alternate perhaps, but.
Does everybody have,
Emergency management.
does that apply to emergency management as well?
I'm not, were you the emergency management person? I'm not as of.
You were involved in the CD, weren't you? Civil defence.
Yeah, well, I took over the civil defence group from Charlie, but then we decided at one of our meetings that instead of having a separate little group, that our community board would be in charge of civil defence, and we could bring it up, 3 or 4 times a year or something.
I think the deputy chair would be fine to be on.
Yes, so you're happy with that, Russell?
Yeah.
So you don't mind if I just
Oh, it's
remove you? Swap that around, sorry.
That's my fault.
That's, thanks for that clarification, Scott. So then that leaves us to some community groups. Firstly, is everybody happy that we want to do this? Like, it is part of our role is to keep in touch with the community groups. So I'm guessing it would be a good idea to continue.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's only one that's probably the Nariha one would probably make sense if I done that one.
Yeah.
There might be more, by the way, but you could add extra.
Yeah, I saw that comment. Yeah. Is there any more that anyone knows?
This what we
Any other
do.
groups? Not the.
Well, if everyone's happy, I'll put my name down on the Nariha one. And so then we've got the Harmua Hall and Domain. So however,
I'll take the Hanwha Hall and domain.
Russell, okay.
What are the
I
best?
need to do some homework as to who you need to contact about it.
Dick Emery used to be on the Hanwha Hall, but of course he's passed on, so I will get in contact with Yowie
Oh, yeah.
and see if he, if he's on it.
Sorry, Dave.
Sorry, maybe the outside one might be good so I can meet all those people, which I haven't yet. I know it exists, but I think Terry was in here, I think he's part of it, isn't he?
Yes, yeah, as well as Mel.
It was Jack still.
I still can phone you.
Something Jack, but.
But if you want to come along and have as well, then it's,
Okay.
but
What do these entail, like the?
let's just go on to a monthly meeting. Is it monthly?
What do you guys do?
I think we're going to change to bi-monthly.
Yeah.
For our town,
But I want to contribute where
once we have our
I'm
own.
useful, I don't feel like I'm really useful, I mean, these calls, I don't know anything about them.
Well, let's put you down for the outbound one then.
Well, to be, I mean, I don't know these other bits. I know that the Newman Reserve Board exists because I've got friends that told me that they had to go to a meeting, but other than that, I didn't,
Yeah, you're not the only one learning
Okay.
new stuff.
I
Yeah.
just want to be useful, that's what I'm.
Through you, David.
Yeah.
I think about it as you're there as the representative as well as the community board to listen to what they say. I don't think you need any special expertise of the ins and outs of all the detail of what they do. But if you hear their views, you bring it back to the table to the extent there are things discussed at this table that are relevant to them, you then bring it to that table. So you're the representative. That's really
It's representing the board, yeah, so that's well put, that's,
And we will be writing to all of the groups to advise who their liaison with New Zealand Community Board is.
right, so,
You know, is that you?
Dave for ours now, and then what did we have for Newman, was that you, Mel?
Yeah, I'll do.
St John?
So I had that booklet of, that last hearing, and I wasn't sure about anything on that one. I did mention it to Karina, and, she was like, and to Deb.
Did they have meetings or? Maybe not.
No. It was, she just said, oh, don't worry about it. I'm like, yeah.
Well, if that's the case, we don't have to have a, like, we can remove that as we want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If everyone's happy, that can be part of our resolution when we get to it, just to
Yeah.
cross that one on.
We do have a couple more groups in town, and if we want to think about them, we've got the museum and we've got the health board. So those are two other groups that are part of our community. The health board probably worthwhile a lot. Museum, I don't know how much we would bring.
Yeah, well, I'm like,
Because I can jump in, so I'm already on there, so I already part of all of that stuff.
On the health board.
Yeah.
On the health board and one with Mel. But if it's something that we want to bring in here, I can definitely be in, yeah, as long as there as well, just.
Yeah, I think
I'm
that's a
quite
good
happy
idea.
to bring that on.
Because I think they're critical to our district.
They
Yeah,
are.
definitely, yeah.
Okay,
All right, well, also, when you say health board, or we call it the medical centre?
Eketahuna Health Board.
And that's yours, Chris? Yes, yeah.
And what's anybody's thoughts on the museum?
I do.
You happy to the museum? I can, do you know Crystal Rose at all?
I've been there a couple of times when we bought them those, display cases and,
Hi.
it's for the public anyhow, and one other time, I can't remember what it was, but, yeah.
Oh,
I've been there a couple of times or so.
Well, we will add, museum to that and put, things for that. Now, 1.7 is a completely separate thing, Ellie, or are we just mixing that all in together?
That's it all in, just,
Yeah.
we'll just do an overarching resolution.
Yep. The community newsletter, I would assume that it makes sense for me to carry on.
Yep.
Doing that.
Okay, I'll do the community facilities, campground and cemeteries.
Okay. And sports grounds, swimming pool, playground. Is Ryan still in charge of the swimming pool?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I'm happy to jump into there if you want.
Anzac Day, I don't recall having a particular person for that. We would always just discussed it at
Yeah.
a board. Is that right? Ellie? I don't remember.
Yeah, and I think, help out, and I think you need
Same
someone
thing.
on there, because we have that on the agenda, so.
Yeah, so the both has been board items.
Yeah.
So we can probably cross those two off. All right, can we have somebody move that those allocations of portfolios are modified, received, and all the appropriate names? Yeah, Clarissa, thank you, and the seconder?
Yep.
Mel, thank you. Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Carried.
Sorry, very fast, but on 6.6 in the same grouping is, other, between the community organisations and wider areas the board covers. The only other sort of community organisation I've been involved in really is like the men's shed.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's worth mentioning at all.
That's actually taken care of under the health centre, so it takes care of that, it's not the share as part of mental health.
And we do really need to try to stick to a meeting agenda as we roll through. So that brings us to the Alfred Humanitarian Awards. So there's information on that. I'm guessing everybody has read all that. Earlier on page 31, right at the top there, it says we need to make a resolution to initiate the process. Is that right?
We've got proposed recommendations there, 1.1 and 1.2 covered.
Nine. Have we got nominations?
No, that's to open.
No, it's just so.
Oh, it's in today we're opening the process, right? Yeah, okay. So is any comments on?
The only comment I would have is that you probably want to just make sure that the notice actually probably goes to the information centre today, because they usually put out the next month's newsletter early, you know, like a week before the actual month is over.
Yeah, well, so I can put that in the my report. All right, well, the recommendation is, someone wants to move that we open the Alfred Award. Well, firstly, that it's received the report, and do we do that separately early or just do it all together?
Yeah.
And also that we open the nominations on these dates to close on 10th of April.
Yeah.
Larissa and Dave seconded, thank you. All those in favour say aye. Carried. And is it just standard practice really that you will put something in the newspaper as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Put something in the next Bush Telegraph.
Yeah.
We have a page in.
Right. Thank you. Management report on page 33. Has anybody got any comments on that report?
I do. I just want to know, on page 48, it talks about how there's been contamination, but what contamination is it? Is it people not cleaning their things properly, or is it people dumping rubbish into the recycling bins?
It's fine. It's
I think it's dirty and unrecyclable material.
yeah, that would be what I have to check that now, but it's likely to be non-recyclable, so it's contamination.
Yeah.
It's a crazy word.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of all. Contamination also can be if food or if things haven't been washed out, so it can.
Yeah, because I just was more interested, to know what exactly it is. Like, do we have a problem with people just chucking rubbish in there because they're being lazy, or is
So
it?
yes. So the answer to that is yes. In some cases, where I mean, some of the things that get put into recycling are very inappropriate. So there could be food scraps, other stuff. So absolute contamination like that. There also could be non-recyclable things. There could be unclean recyclable items. So as an example, things not being washed out at all. And yeah, that can have quite an impact to the surrounding recyclable items as well. But it's a catch-all. So that,
Is there anything in is there a plan to provide more education to
yes,
people?
that's ongoing. And last year we had waste education with Kate, which was a program that went around the district. That was part of that. There will be other comms that go out, other social media. It's an ongoing thing and it will continue to be challenging, but yes.
Any further comments on the report? All right, can someone move that the letter is received? Well, thank you. Marissa, how those in favour say aye? Carried. Page 51. Have any comments on the impact report? Haven't made any notes at all about it. Anybody else at all? Thanks, Dave. Liam, someone moves that the report's received. Dave, thank you. Seconder, Chris, thank you. All those in favour say aye. Carried. Do we have any reports from any organisations? Probably not yet on things. The year's just started out.
Who's the our town minutes?
Yeah, there are
Things later on in correspondence, I guess. I attended, as did Chris and Scott, I think the Zoom meeting for the risk-based assessment for TMPs, but we already had enough of a discussion about that. I'll just wait until we learn some more on this piece. So correspondence on 59. It's down outbound. Oh, it's Mike Douglas, sorry. We've already covered. So I'll wait for our turn until the proper time. Right, we just need somebody to move that the correspondence from Mike has been received. Dave, thank you, and seconder, Mel, thank you. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Right, moving on to item 12. Start with the event that we've had run before at the Eketahuna Club for new residents to meet the community board and also other relevant. So in the past, we've invited like the primary school and any sports groups or anything that we have in Eketahuna, which are dwindling fast. But yeah, in the past, it's been generally it was very well attended, and we've had quite a few people asking for it to be run again. So I think it's a good idea. Anyone got any thoughts?
It was actually brought up on Kerry's the paper quite a few times
As well.
Yeah.
So who wants to do some work on that, and shall we pick a date today? Or do we really need to talk to the club first to see when's appropriate when we can?
If we talk to the club and see when we can actually organise that, then that would be good.
Well, as we did, Ellie, today we don't need to write down exact details, do we? We just need to decide, yes, we want to do it. I think there seems to be a consensus there.
Yep,
And
I'll pick that up and
I just don't want to do the whole, let's do something at the next meeting, you know, like if we agree today that we're going to do it, then we can crack on and get it done.
Roughly when will we be looking at doing it?
When?
Yeah, like end of March and.
I know that there's like a whole bunch of new people that are moving in over the next sort of 3 weeks. So I
to allow the farmers to.
Which is what more like June, isn't it?
It's generally.
Yeah. Well, I don't really mind, but except that it has been community members saying, hurry up and do it. They were wanting it last year, but my reply to them then was, let's wait until we've had our elections, because we may well have a new board, and sure enough, we have. So that's why I said no to last year. So, and in spite of, I mean, because of that, I would think probably sooner rather than later.
Well, I think if we do it in April,
Yeah.
then you've actually got time to
Yeah, there's
make a
much.
plan and contact everyone and actually advertise it. So,
Yeah.
In the middle of that.
All right, well, let's talk about April as a date, as a month, and then we'll just talk to John at the club. And does anyone want to really run with heading up the organising of that? I mean, it's
Yeah, I do that.
it's
I'll
not
have Larissa as well. I mean, because we're members of the club too, so.
it's not a huge amount of work. It's just involves writing a list of. I mean, I'm happy to sit down in an informal
Yeah, I can do that.
time, and it's just a matter of forming a list of who we need to invite and then putting it in the notice. So probably next month's newsletter.
Yeah.
And the newspaper.
Yeah. Box.
All right, so for today, then we've got that, we're agreed on that, but we will hold it in April and we can have an informal sit down about the details. All right, sounds good.
I think that'll drop in before it'll be after our April meeting, so.
Yeah, I think a normal sit down is the way to go there. Yeah, we need to probably be doing a lot more of those, seeing as our meetings here are bi-monthly now. Just so then we can make, we can bring to a meeting. We may have more stuff to bring to a meeting and we can be more efficient about actually achieving things. Now, moving on to Anzac Day. All I know about that so far is that, Terry representing the RSA has emailed Ten Transport, who normally come to that, attend that, and he hasn't had a response yet because I think that person might have moved on to another role, but Terry's sort of heading that up, which is great because it, if we can get the army along, that takes care of a whole lot of that. I was going to email our mayor and ask if who would like to attend our Anzac Day this year, but let's do it in person now.
I would imagine that the representative from council would likely be Councillor Chris Corlett. He's available. I won't be attending the Anzac ceremony here. I will be heading to the bridge though, so I will be at that part of it. Just
For anyone that doesn't know, you might not know, Dave, that about 2 o'clock there's another ceremony at the Anzac Bridge, which is run by
the friends of
the Friends of the Bridge Association out there. So I've always gone and attended. So
it's a very, very good service that you're interested in.
I would, I highly recommend it. Yeah, it's well attended and well run. So yeah.
So as part of that Anzac for Eketahuna, but then I'll catch up with Councillor Corlett. But there's a cycle of smaller services in the area that the council representative attends.
So there is a council thing for you to read out, and that's correct, isn't it? That there's an official thing that needs to come from council.
A message from the Governor General.
Yeah.
Which is traditionally at Eketahuna Anzac Days is what's read out by the council representative.
Yeah, so that's traditionally what our council representative has done. So I just thought I'd let you know because Mike was unaware of it apparently.
So was I.
Leading up to one of the times he attended. So yeah, so there is an official thing for you. So
I'm disappointed that you told us
a little bit
spoiled
yeah,
surprise.
he was a bit surprised and a bit bewildered about it. So Anzac Day, yeah, like I say, Terry started it, and do we need to book the hall officially?
Mhm.
And what else?
The rate, if there's somewhere specific that you want everyone to organise that from,
let us know.
There's a local supplier now, isn't there?
Yeah.
It was discussed at our last meeting, but has anyone talked to it?
Terry, if I can talk to it.
Yeah, I believe that's run through its council process. We'll double check, but my understanding is that it's been set up from councils and to be able to.
It has.
facilitate that.
Oh, good, okay, well, then,
I think Terry actually said that he was going to.
he was gonna do
He was gonna
something,
look into it to make
Yeah.
sure that we could use local for and
which
so.
has happened by the.
Yeah, just double check it.
It's since then, Bruce.
And we've got
It has happened, oh, good,
Oh,
so that's great, so we can use,
Read from
yeah,
there. Organising the club. And refreshments afterwards.
yeah, do we normally, Ellie, do we normally have pay for refreshments at the club, or it's not, I don't think we do,
I
no,
get no, thank you.
no, I don't think we do,
No.
so,
So no.
no, yeah, but, just you want to talk to John about just making sure, that he, you know, that we book the day instead of just assuming that. So that's the club, Terry, and myself and Charlie are gonna be meeting together to discuss the meeting agenda and stuff, and so that's sort of taken care of itself, I think. That's probably covered off enough for Anzac Day. All right, item 13 is the minutes from our town. Mel, did you want to have any comments? You want anything you wanted to highlight? Being a member, pretty straightforward.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything in here, I mean.
Yeah, you don't have to-
Terry's pretty much, talking about everything that's been going on, so, yeah.
All right. No problem at all. Can somebody move that those minutes are received, please? Dave and Larissa, thank you. All those in favour say aye.
Right.
I carried. Under chairperson's remarks, I made some notes, but I didn't get around to doing my actual homework to get the proper facts, and I just wanted to.
What's this going to happen?
It was just going to be to commend our local people that are like Veruca Braddock having some success. I think you might know the details, Mel, anyway, on some competition recently. You made a comment about it on.
I didn't post it, I just share things that are relevant. to-
Anyway, they are to be commended, and also I was waiting to find out about Nia Hansen was also going to do wool handling competition stuff, so maybe I will actually get some detail and I can bring it to next meeting. I just like it to be acknowledged that we've got this amazing talent and they own the competitions and they're doing really well.
It's international stuff too, it's not just.
Well, I think
New
that
Zealand.
what I read from your comment was that Veruca was part of 3 shearers that set a new record and also a personal best for him as well, and that was 8 hours of shearing.
Mhm.
So and I think it was an international record.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we could comment from that in our minutes anyway, Ellie, that otherwise we're 2 months away to the next meeting, it might not be so relevant, but that was all I had to say there. So moving on to 15, the potholes I talked about. Yeah, they're on the agenda, they're on that spot because I thought they might have been dealt with by now, but so South Road number 2. There's one really, really bad one, but there's actually a whole bunch of them, and this is throughout January. And so because I don't have all the time in the world either to be doing CRMs all the time, so I sort of let it go for most of January, and then on the 25th of January, I was right up, so I went and took some photos and put CRMs in, about 3 or 4 of them. Fairly quickly after that, the white paint arrived around all the potholes, so that's pretty good. CRM went in and action happened. But as of yesterday, they still haven't been fixed, so we're coming to the end of February now, and the CRM went in on the 25th of January, but bearing in mind they were already old, like they were already been around for quite a while then. and now still no, and one in particular, you really want to avoid it, which obviously if cars are coming, you can't, I guess you're just gonna have to brake, wait.
Mr. Chair, were you contacted by anyone after?
No. I have been contacted in the past by CRMs, but I reckon it's probably about 20% of the CRMs I put in, someone will phone me about them, so sometimes it works,
That's,
or sometimes I get contact.
that's good feedback.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks. No.
I'll contact after my CRS.
Yeah, one was about 20%, so that's better than nothing. All right, well, on that,
We do have some opportunity in that space.
yeah. All right, well, on that note, I will declare the meeting closed. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you. How often do our, roads